Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today we are here at Jeddah for a Formula 2 last to first challenge against 100% AI. It should certainly be an action-packed one and hopefully quite a challenging one. Of course, Jeddah, it is a street circuit, but there are still plenty of overtaking opportunities around this winding 3.836 mile track with 27 turns and 3 DRS zones to aid overtaking. Your best chances of getting past are of course turns 1, 13 and 27. And now you can see this lovely camera shot. That is turn 13, the banked left-hander. You can go for a move there if you get a great run out of the first sector compared to your opponents. And there is the Aston Martin safety car ready to start the start procedure for this Jeddah Grand Prix to get it underway. But there is the dams of Marcus Armstrong. He starts on the front row alongside Jehan Daruvula, who is on pole. Meanwhile, we are on the last row of the grid. A lot of work to do to carve through the field. Juan Yuzo, though, in the thick of it. P10 to start these days. He is, of course, in Formula 1, driving for Alfa Romeo. Dan Ticktum a little bit further up the field in his Carlin towards his teammate. What can he do from, I do believe, the third or second row of the grid? Looking at the starting grid then here in Jeddah, the Jeddah Corniche circuit, a street circuit, and it's Jehan Daruvula on pole in his Carlin, followed by Marcus Armstrong in his Dams. Then on the second row, we have Felipe Drugovich alongside my teammate Robert Schwartzman. Vips then follows Dan Ticktum on the third row in sixth, followed by Theo Boucher and Lerem Zendelli. Then we've got Beckman and Zhou rounding out the top 10, followed by Jack Aitken and Sato. Then we've got Samaya, Boschung, Nissany and Lundgaard, who rounds out the top 16, followed by Bent Viscal, Richard Verschoor, Liam Lawson, Enzo Fittipaldi, and then we've got Deleda. We start from P22. Everyone else is opting for the soft tyres on the start. We are going to use the mediums on the start so we can have the pacier softs at the end when we're going to be fighting the leaders and hopefully trying to take the victory here in Jeddah. Here we go then in Jeddah for a 14-lap race. 5 red lights. They're out and away we go. A decent start for Fittipaldi in front. Not so great, though, for Richard Verschoor, who's dropping down the field. Fittipaldi in front's going to go for a dive bomb into turn 1. We're going to go even down the inside line of him. It's virtually 4 wide, throwing it over the curb. Absolutely insane. Somehow we didn't hit the wall. And now we're going side by side with Fittipaldi on the exit. We could be up to P14 with an incredible dive bomb. We're going to go down the inside line to this corner. Then we're going to be able to slam the door shut on the exit, which we pretty much do. And we're up to P14 with an incredible start. Meanwhile, Sato and Samaya going side by side in front of them. It's Zhou and Aitken. Samaya is then forced to concede the position to Sato, who moves it to P12. Great move from him. And Samaya left the door open for ourselves. However, we are going to force that back open now as we're going to go down the inside line. He tries to nudge us a little bit there, but of course pretty easy with that inside line into the back corner. Nothing you can do around the outside line. A sitting duck for Samaya, and we are through into P13. An insane start, and next up it is Sato. Onto that number 2 here. Sato a little bit in front, pretty much too far to go down the inside line, but he's going very slow into turn 1. I'm going to go down the inside line. Another dive bomb. We get the move done nice and cleanly up to P12 and exploiting this train, backing each other up, really doing that into the first corner. Now we're right on the back of Jack Aitken as we head towards the start of Sector 2 here. We are chasing and chasing onto him, very close to the back of him. We've got an overlap now. Down the inside line, nothing too special there. Hook it up, keep it close to the curb, and that's ourselves up into P11 on the verge of the points already. Huge side on the exit, though. We managed to hold it. Don't go into the wall, and Aitken remains behind him. P12, but that might not continue. DRS enabled here on lap number 3. That will be available on the run into the 180-degree bank corner a little bit later. Meanwhile, down the inside line for Aitken. We're going to be able to defend it, though, with the inside line at turn 2. Push him out a little bit, and we manage to keep P11. We're dropping away from Zhou, though, and we need to get a bit of a move on in terms of catching up to him. But, of course, we have our strong Sector 1, so we should be able to sort of bridge that gap. Now, on to lap number 4. We're closing the gap to Zhou and Boucher in front. That's now under a second, and it's over a second back to Aitken and Sato. Yellow flags are out. What are they for? Who are they for? And it's the Struck and David Beckman going, so we're going to have to go around the outside line of him. We couldn't go down the inside line. He's pushing us. He's pushing us. Look at the gap we've lost to Zhou. We come back on the track, and we nearly swipe across in front of Jack Aitken. Didn't realise we were going to do that. Thankfully, there was no contact. But Beckman has proved very costly, and now we're dropping away from Zhou, and we are vulnerable to Aitken and Sato behind. Extremely frustrating. A shame for Beckman, but absolute disaster for ourselves as now Aitken has got a run on us into the first corner on lap number 5. We've dropped away from Joe. Aitken certainly hasn't dropped away from us. He's going to go down the inside line. It's going to be side by side again. We're going to have the inside line for turn 2. We avoid contact and we manage somehow to keep our P10. Meanwhile, further back, it's Aitken and Sato now going side by side. Sato looking to capitalise on that. Tussle at turn 1 and try to come through. They're going side by side. Fantastic racing. Wheel to wheel. Tyres nearly banging back there. You can see in the mirror. And Aitken defends the position, but that means we're now comfortably in front of them. And on to lap 6. It is Joe just in front. We've caught up to him. We've managed to get comfortably in front of Aitken and Sato, who have dropped behind a purple sector 1. We're nowhere near close enough this time round. However, an opportunity to get past Guan Yu Zhou in that Univirtuosi Racing Formula 2 car cannot be that far away. And now we've got some DRS on the run to the final corner of the lap. Zhou just in front. Surely I think we're a bit too far back for the dive bomb. We're still going to try it down the inside line, carrying a lot of speed into it. A huge slide in the middle of the corner. I don't think there was any contact. But wow, we managed to come through. Not the cleanest, and now he's going to try and fight back. We're going to have the inside line at turn 1. We're going to go over the curb, slam the door shut there. Little bit too aggressive between the two of us. A bit messy, but we are up into P9. And thankfully, neither of us have any damage. And now, Théo Pouchet just in front. As we now head into the middle sector, we're using our DRS. And I think we're a tad too far back for a move this time round. We are going to have to wait until later on this lap, or onto lap number 8 to get past the young Frenchman. But of course, we are making fantastic progress considering the fact we're on these medium tyres. And now on lap number 8 through the middle sector, incredibly close to the back of Pouchet. Joe started to catch a little bit back up towards us. Of course, Aitken way behind. We don't need to worry about him. But now you can see really aggressive on the exit, using the curbs to our advantage. Now we've got the DRS flap open. So does Pouchet, but we got the run in him. We're going to go down the inside line, brake a little bit later, carry the speed in, and we comfortably get the move done up into P8. And another top class move, P8 on lap 8, and we are catching on to Zendelli too, looking for a double overtake this lap. Now it's the MP Motorsport Formula 2 car. We're getting very close to him, side by side. I don't really want to go side by side. We back off there. You don't want to have a collision. You don't want to lose a front wing after all this fantastic progress, but we do have another opportunity to come through because it's the DRS zone now, although I think we may be a little bit far back. We are catching fairly quickly though on Zendelli. A dive bomb could be on here. We're going to have a look at it. We're going to go down the inside line, not carrying too much speed in, keep it hooked up to the curb and the wall, and we are through into P7. Yuri Vips coming into the pits this time round. And Dan Ticktum is staying out. My teammate Schwartzman in. Daruvula is in. This will be interesting to see where everyone filters out. Will we see some undercuts or even some overcuts? A huge slide into turn 1. Too aggressive on the brakes there for ourselves. We manage to not spin around and go into the wall. Absolutely pivotal, and a huge pivotal save in this Grand Prix. And now towards the end of the lap, we are not going to box this time round. Probably at the end of lap number 10. Ticktum just in front. We haven't had the best of laps this time around, although we are slowly starting to catch on to him. Fittipaldi a little bit further behind in P5. He hasn't pitted yet. Daruvula does still lead my teammate Robert Schwartzman. We are boxing at the end of lap number 10. That is confirmed. Armstrong, Drugovic, Ticktum in the pits. That's out of those front runners. The question is, will they be out in front or behind my teammate, and in front of him, Jehan Daruvula in the car lane? And now, it seems, yellow flags are out. It's one of the HWA Race Lab cars. Who is that going to be? Out of the session. Alessio delayed. Really unlucky for him. And the second mechanical failure and retirement of this Formula 2 feature race in Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, it is Daruvula who leads my teammate Robert Schwartzman, from then Armstrong and Vips, who rounds out the top 5. And now we are heading into the pits this lap, really taking an awful lot of speed in, but hopefully the team can give us a good stop. We can get out again and not be in the middle of that pack led by Armstrong and Yuri Vips. The soft tyres are on the pacier softs, the grippier softs. Of course, a slower stop than in Formula 1. If you're new to Formula 2, it's a lot slower in Formula 2. They're not quite as quick. It's not as competitive in the pit box, and they don't have as many people there. Daruvula and Schwartzman speed past us down the main straight. I think Armstrong and Vips might do the same, although there's a chance of coming out in front of them, and we're going to do exactly that up to P3. The overcut has worked perfectly, and we are into a podium position. Just my teammate and Jehan Daruvula in the car lane in front. and we are in prime position to complete this last to first challenge. And as you can see, towards the end of lap number 11, we are getting straight on with it. We're not wasting any time. We're going to try and go for a move on my teammate Robert Schwartzman. He hugs the inside line. We're forced to go to the outside line, braking quite late. We're going to try and get the car turned, and it's just not turning in. We carried too much speed in. Nearly collide with the wall on the exit. Thankfully, we didn't do that, but that's proved quite costly, and we've dropped quite a way behind my teammate Robert, who's now 4.5 tenths in front. But through this lovely, winding Sector 1, we've really caught up to the back of the other Prima racing car, and we could say a bit of civil war, because this is where we've been getting most of our overtakes. Fantastic through Sector 1, and now we're going to chase onto him, using that DRS, fantastic defending those, hugging the inside line. There's nothing we can do. The outside line totally ineffective there. Incredible defending from Robert, and that was pretty well deserved to keep that P2. We're going to have to try and attempt again towards the end of lap number 12. On to 13. We've got that DRS. We're going to have a look at the inside line. We can't go for that, though, as he defends it well. Plants his car in the middle of the track, and we simply cannot get through here. But down into turn 1, we are just over a tenth behind my teammate. We've got that DRS, so does he, but we got a much better run out the final corner. We're going to try and go around the outside line, but he really closes in. Early contact. We nearly lose our front wing on his rear wheel, but we do manage to avoid that. We still, though, cannot get past, and we are on to the penultimate lap of this race. We've got to get a move on. Surely, it has to be done now. We're getting a very strong run once again out of Sector 1. Extremely close to the back of my teammate. He's not going to defend the inside line that heavily here, and we can go down the inside line into P2, but a little bit too deep. He's going to try and come back on the exit. We're going to squeeze him a little bit, and we are managing to keep P2 there. We're up into the top 2, and now it's just Daruvula, the race leader, to try and overtake. He will not have DRS. We've got a massive pace advantage when we're chasing him down. We got past my teammate. Now we're going to try and go down the inside line of Daruvula, but that was never really going to work, and by attempting to go for an overtake, that simply was not there by any means. We're dropping further away from him onto the final lap of the Grand Prix, and we have got just 2 full DRS zones left for ourselves to try and come past him. But of course, we are so much quicker through the first sector that we are already inspecting the back of his gearbox with our front wing, extremely close to the back of the car lane, and surely an opportunity has to arrive into the 180-degree bank corner. We're getting quite impatient behind him, carrying a lot of pace over these curves. We got that DRS, he doesn't, and we're going to try and go steaming past him, but it forces us to the outside line. We're going to go around the outside line. It's side by side. Incredible race. We're going to try and squeeze him so he can try and come through, but then he pushes us out. A little bit of contact with our front wing onto his side pod. Thankfully, no damage for either of us, but we still haven't got the move done. This has to be the final opportunity towards the end of the lap. We're getting close to him now, not close enough there, so we've got 1 full DRS zone, although he will not have DRS, and we are only a couple of tenths behind. Now, activating DRS on the exit, we are steaming through, and we're going to steam past Daruvula. He's going to try and squeeze us, but we are up into P1 here. Lap 14, into the final corner. We've got it done in the dying moments of this race, and Daruvula is not going to be able to come back past us. Yes, we have done it. Last to first here at Jeddah in Formula 2 as we cross the line as winners. Well, we managed it out there today, and what an exciting race it was. It all came down to the dying moments, but we managed it last to first here at Jeddah, and we managed to take that win as Oscar Piastri in a well-deserved driver of the day. Indeed, of course, the team, the pit wall, looking incredibly happy after that result. Let's not forget it was a P3 for Robert Schwartzman too, so a double podium for Prima. As we step out the car, we have triumphed today as the race winner. Daruvula narrowly missing out in his Carlin, denied of a race win. Those guys in the pit box will be celebrating tonight. I'm sure a couple of beers probably going round to celebrate what has been a fantastic victory for the team. Oh, and the fans look absolutely elated over there, standing exactly still like statues. It's going to be musical statues over there quite clearly. Not so much social distancing though in the grandstands. Hopefully those guys are celebrating our victory in an action-packed race here at Jeddah, full of overtakes. And now the best bit here, we are going to take the top step of the podium. What a race it has been. We're going to lift that majestic winner's trophy here in Jeddah, and now ensues the best part. Spray the champagne, spray the bubbly, specifically all over Daruvala's face. Yes, there we go. Exactly what we wanted to do. The celebrations have started here in Jeddah. and a simply fantastic drive from ourselves. And that has earned us the opportunity to spray the bubbly on the podium. From 22nd to 1st, we managed it, and we even took the fastest lap at 1 minute 43.636. Now, if we looked further down the field, then Deruvala and Schwartzman rounded out the podium, followed by Armstrong, Vips, Zendelli, Zhou, Drugovic, Boucher, well ticked and rounded out the top 10. Then we've got Aitken, Sartos, Tamaya, Fittipaldi, Boström, Lundgaard, Nissany, Lawson, Viscar and Verschoor, while Deleda and Beckman failed to finish due to mechanical issues. Well, what a race that was out there today. If you guys have enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Well, thanks a lot for watching. I'll catch you all sometime soon for some more action-packed Formula 1 and Formula 2 content.